lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy. This time I'm reviewing An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. This is a contemporary adult science fiction novel. It follows April May, who discovers a really strange statue, films a video about it, becomes internet famous, and the statue becomes a really huge deal and has tons of mystery surrounding it. So the book is written by Hank Green, who is John Green's brother and one of the Vlogbrothers. He is actually my favorite of the two brothers. Hank's a little more sciencey and nerdy, which I love and relate to way more. Not that I don't love John also, but I was excited that Hank was writing a book. So, ta-da! I have it. I also got to go see them when they were on tour for this book. And my copy signed. So, yay! I just had to show that off just a little bit. So April May finds this giant 10-foot tall metal statue that looks like a transformer combined with like a samurai soldier anime Megadon character. It's really weird. It appeared in the middle of the night and she just says, "Hey, this looks awesome." She's an artist and she appreciates the amount of art that goes into this. Plus, it's really weird that there's a 10-foot tall statue and people are just walking by it not noticing it. But also, it's New York. So she calls her friend Andy, who makes YouTube videos and does podcasts, and gets him to bring his video equipment, and they film the robot. April stands in front of it, starts talking about it. She even does a bit where she interviews the robot. She names it Carl, and at first she thinks that's it. I'm going to post it on the internet. Few people are going to look at it. Maybe some people will like wake up, look around them, notice what's going on, appreciate this art that somebody spent all this time on. April goes to bed, and when she wakes up the next day, it has gone viral because there isn't just the one Carl in New York. There are actually statues all over the world. There are 64 of them, and nobody knows how they got there. Like the security cameras in the area all went blank. All the statues went up at the same time. And it's just this giant mystery. And the more that everybody starts looking into these statues, which, by the way, everybody just starts calling them Carls after April May's video. But the more that we find out about these statues, the weirder things get and the less probable they seem. So I love the mystery behind what the Carls are. It feels like it's one of the driving forces of this narrative. Also, April May becomes internet famous. And she's having to deal with that. She and Andy are also like design students, so like they've studied how to market and brand things. This is what they've gone to school for, and so April runs with it. She's like, "Hey, we're making money. They want us on television talking about these. We become the de facto experts on these statues." So she and Andy are doing interviews. She is posting constantly on social media, and it just blows up out of proportion. Like everybody on Earth has heard of April May, and she's uber famous. So the other major part of this book is April May's journey into fame and internet culture and social media and what it does to her and what it does to society around her and her friends and her relationships. Even like giving up her job because now she's making way more money doing the social media thing than she was at her design job. So this book is science fiction, and it's an adult novel. It's following April, who's 23, and it kind of feels like a YA novel in the way that it's written, the whole discovering who you are thing, except that the themes are a little more mature. April swears a lot, like tons of F-bombs in here. There's also a few sex scenes in here, although they aren't too graphic or bad, and there's some violence in here, although we're pretty much warned about anything truly awful before it happens, because the entire book is written as a narrative looking back on the events after they've happened. So April's filling us in from this time in the future where she knows how everything's ended, but she's like, "Guys, this is what happened. Here's my side of the story. This is what I was thinking at the time." She doesn't always make the right decisions, but here are her justifications for why she did what she did when she did it. On top of Andy, we've also got some really fun characters like April's girlfriend and roommate, Maya. They meet a scientist named Miranda who helps join their group to solve the question of what the Carls are from a more scientific perspective, which I really appreciated. really getting into the sci-fi stuff. They're giant robots that came out of nowhere and defy physics, guys. We also meet Robin, who is this guy who was hired by her the PR agency that takes April on and tries to like guide her through this fame and all the attention she's getting and like booking her media appearances. Those are kind of the main characters in here. Besides, I guess Carl becomes his own thing, his own looming identity in this book. One of my favorite parts of this book is like the whole fame thing and the whole social media thing and the whole YouTube thing. Like, I'm a YouTuber, so that's something that I related to like see that play out. And even though I'll never end up with the kinds of views that April ends up with this in this book, I can relate to like watching your stats to see how many views your video had or how fast you get them, how many people are liking or interacting it, or when somebody famous or somebody that you admire like interacts back. This book takes place on such a global scale, and I appreciated getting to see how different cultures reacted to the Carls and how it really brings everybody together, or at least starts a global conversation, because it's happened on all 6 continents. There were 64 of these statues. They're in places like China, where the government decides you can't actually, nobody else is getting near this except the military. Or there's one in like Los Angeles, which becomes an immediate tourist attraction. And the one in New York becomes a tourist attraction because it's the one from April's video, as well as, New York being a pretty big tourist attraction anyway. So it's interesting to see the different Carls and how different society takes it in. We have the different news outlets, how they're spinning it and talking about it, and April and Andy trying to shape the narrative. And there becomes a part later where like the entire global social media community is pulling together to try to solve the mystery of what the Carls are and where they came from. So I liked the global aspect of this and just really how big it is and how big a scope it is and how much technology has connected us as a human race to be able to talk to somebody who's in a different country like instantaneously and solve problems together. There's definitely a problem solving aspect to this. The Carls pose. It seems like every time they solve one mystery about the Carls, there's like another mystery somewhat related to them that they then have to solve throughout the entire book before we finally actually figure out what the Carls are and why they're here. It is definitely a sci-fi book, though. The explanation of what the Carls are is definitely not normal. I wish I could talk about this book way more without spoiling it, but I'm not going down that road. It's amazing. I love the Carls and what they end up being and how they interact with humanity and the little mysteries they leave us to solve. I like trying to solve all these little riddles along with April. April's a pretty relatable character. She's not perfect, though. She's really bad at interpersonal relationships and getting close to people, and especially romantic relationships. She is also bi, which I liked. Like, she's with Maya, and one of the things in this book is with the her publicist trying to convince her to just be a lesbian, because that would be so much easier if like she's not bi. If you're just like, you can be gay or straight, but like if you're both, that's really hard to spin. And I'm like, no, April, don't go with it. Don't deny this one part of you. I like the fact that she is bi, and even though she's with a girl currently, doesn't mean that she, there aren't some guys that catch her eye in this book. I think that's one thing about this book is it's April telling us a story, and she wants you to engage in the story itself also, as if this were one giant YouTube video kind of thing, or one giant tweet. So the book does invite you in to help solve the mysteries with them. It's very inviting and open, and April's pretty honest, even about when she makes mistakes. She's like, look, I screwed up. Here's why. But I really felt at the time that this was the best decision. Or, you know what, guys, I really did kind of get carried away here. But, I mean, come on, I wanted to be the first. Can you blame me? And really talking about, like, she gets, like, addicted to the attention of being the first and leading the narrative and having everybody turn to her to be the expert on the Carls, and she needs to, like, stay ahead of it. Yes, I got really, really into the book, and by the time that book ended, I was super, super upset that it just like stopped, and I'm like, need more book now. I do know that there is a sequel coming, so like hopefully there will be more, but like waiting. Just need to find another good book is all. So I do highly recommend An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I totally gave it the whole 5 stars, 5 out of 5. I love it, especially if you love sci-fi or you love mysteries or you're really into social media and today's internet culture. Like totally check out An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. So let me know in the comments below if you have read this book and what you thought of it. Also, do you like my hair? I cut it just like today. I'm still getting used to it being 7 inches shorter. It's a massive difference, and I am loving it so much. It's also really hard not to play with it because it hasn't been this short in like a while. So much playing with my hair. And it's, of course, feathery. So, yeah. I love my hair. So, peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.